Hey! Oh, I don't know why I'm starting to feel pain in my shoulder. It's weird. Very weird. Let's see. See, it says, host calls out Candace Owens and gets schooled. We're going to do that one now. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, and smash that like button, and let's hop right into it. No time to waste. Love y'all. Do love y'all. And thank you for coming back. Let's do this.
In this classic interview with Crystal Ball and Buck Sexton, Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk sat down to discuss a conservative event for young African Americans.
Why is she sitting next to Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk has been on the record constant amount of times trying to imply that black people are inferior. You're sitting next to a woman that you would only admit probably on camera is intelligent because your audience agrees with her. And you say that something like Boeing hiring about 50% of the workers that are black, which I've looked into, and he completely worded that crazy because that's not what they were saying. They were saying they wanted to get more blacks to be pilots because a lot of blacks are applying. They were literally saying that, like, they were literally giving this information that a lot of blacks are applying and they're not getting the job. So we need to open up the door to more diversity. That's what they were implying. I didn't see 40 or 50%. That could be true, but I didn't see that in what I was looking at. So I think he just lied, but I don't know. But sitting next to Charlie Kirk, Candace, it's just weird. It's weird.
Americans they were soon to host. However, the conversation quickly burst into an argument when Ball crossed a racial line, like all liberals do. Hello and welcome back to Resist the Mainstream. I'm Steve Inman, reporting the news at the Mainstream Woke. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and of course hit that notification bell for more classic content like we're about to witness. Well, this was a while back, but it is a turning point for Candace Owens, in fact, and Charlie Kirk, obviously, with Turning Point, promoting their event in Washington, D.C. to bolster and promote young black conservatives. When rising host Crystal Ball began to ask increasingly baiting questions, the conversation started out very cordial, but quickly began to evolve into a political trap as Ball continued to push towards a debate about African-American conservatism. Can I just first ask, what is this event, and what are we going to be seeing the next couple of days here in D.C.?
You know, we had received so much interest over a period of time in this sort of youth black conservative movement. It felt like we really wanted to harness the power and the opportunity and invite everyone to D.C., first and foremost, to bring them to conservative ideas. A major hurdle that the black community faces is not having the resources to get to different ideas and sort of being locked inside of a bubble. And having them listen to speakers that they perhaps haven't heard before. Dr. Ben Carson, Murray Elder, people who are routinely mocked in our community. So this is the first ever opportunity to do that in D.C., and we're really excited that it's happening this weekend. In the past, the conversation was almost so intellectual that it was hard for people to digest and process and to understand. And because the left had wanted the culture war, it was easy for them to mock them, to see a skit where perhaps Dr. Ben Carson or Dr. Condoleezza Rice are being mocked. And I think I'm a little more of a fighter, definitely in terms of starting my channel on YouTube and wanting it to be colloquial and wanting it to feel familiar like you were talking to your brother and sister, and sort of taking back some of the turf that was lost on the culture war by making fun of people on the left in the same way that they make fun of us. I think that sort of helped bridge the gap and make people more interested in having the discussion.
Does it bother you that there's no prominent African Americans in the White House?
We have to stop believing in this illusion that because somebody is black, they represent my interests. We learned that lesson via Barack Obama. I mean, he was in the White House for 8 years and didn't do much for the black community, so I'm not interested.
I'm good. I will cut this lie to piss. I will cut this lie to piss. Obama did a lot for the black community. This video was a year ago. I need you guys to go watch the Breakfast Club interview. I need you guys to go watch all the interviews that Obama did when he was dropping his book. I need you guys to go read Obama's book. Everything that Obama was doing helped impoverished communities. That simultaneously helps the black community. If he passes a health care bill, that health care bill simultaneously, which he did, they called it Obamacare, but it's called the Affordable Care Act. That simultaneously helped a whole bunch of black people who have never been covered by health insurance or ever getting janked by shady insurance companies. It helped black people. Him building up the economy with him investing back into the banks and allowing the banks to get the economy to flourish again. I know people didn't like that, but he saved the economy through that and that simultaneously helping black people, which again people don't know. Most of those shady business practices that were happening in 2008 were directly happening to the black community. He did anything he could. He did everything he could in that position to reverse the situation that was happening there. Buying out the auto industry, helping the economy rise, helped blacks rise. Under Obama, black incomes went up. Incarceration got extremely lower. He was the first president to go into the prisons to actually try to help with the situation that's happening in the black community, where more blacks are in prisons than should be. You see what I'm saying? He was doing everything that he could. He did a whole fuck ton for the black community. That lie, I will cut it to piss with data on data on data on data. I'm tired of black people saying that dumb shit. This is the thing that I need black people to do. Stop listening to black faces that don't know what they're talking about, like Hearns in some areas, and go actually do the research to understand what happened. Now, to be fair to the other side of the conversation, Donald Trump did things for black people too. So did Biden. We're moving in a better direction when it comes to the country and helping black people. But not, I don't know about now, because now Donald Trump is rolling back on a lot of the programs, specifically affirmative action that helped black people. DEI was for almost everybody, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. But it's neither here nor there. Obama did things for black. He helped the black community. The rising tide raises all boats. Just because it wasn't specific doesn't mean that he didn't help.
Interested in the color of people's skin. So I'm interested in what they do.
Yeah. So I'm really interested in your perspective. Yeah. So to you, having you don't look at it is an administration that has more white men than past administrations have had.
Yeah.
But that doesn't bother you. You don't think that diversity is important?
No, not at all. I think that we have to stop believing that diversity is the color of people's skin, because if you have the Black Caucus, for example, which didn't stand up and applaud when Trump announced that we had the lowest ever unemployment in the black community, that's concerning to me. So a big part of the conversation that we open is in making people understand that that's an illusion that the left has sold, that somehow because somebody matches my skin color, because somebody matches my gender, they have my best interests at heart.
While Buck remained respectful,
the black community has been the black community's unemployment has been declining, starting under Obama, rolling into Trump, and constantly going down and down and down. It went back up during COVID and started going down, 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 down. So the starting point of unemployment dropping in the black community, you can point. No, you can't even point toward. You can't. Yeah, you can. A little bit in Bush, a little bit towards the ending of Bush. But no, actually, it was going up. The starting point was because the economy was tanking in 2008 when Obama came in. But it started under Obama, and the steamroll effect happened under Trump. Trump took the credit for that economy. All Trump had to do was keep the car moving, and everything would have been good. Like Obama warned him before he left office. Please, as we go forward, do not let certain things get eroded, because there's a reason they're in place. Obama was saying that for a reason. He was saying that for a reason. You know, I'd love to debate Candace Owens. I would love to debate Candace Owens and a lot of these conservative pundits, because I would ask the questions that I noticed that a lot of them try to deflect from. You know, I would talk about the things that I understand that I don't know. But I would like to debate the liberals too, because liberals say bullshit too. But this we're speaking on the conservatives right now, so I'm giving my critique on the conservative take. But I love Candace Owens. She's definitely a good talker though.
Respectful and on topic in his questioning, Ball continued to rile Owens as the conversation turned towards racial diversity and representation in the White House. Ball directed her questions directly at Owens, expecting an outrageous response. But Owens was smart and remained frustrated but calm as she began to reveal the host's true intentions. She's obviously a racist.
In a tweet, you originally said you thought there was zero chance conservatives sent bombs. I think you took that tweet down.
Yeah.
But you later added, it isn't conservatives that are chasing people down in offices and restaurants. It isn't conservatives that have weaponized sexual assault as a means to political gain. I stand by my opinion that when it comes to political violence, the left is the likely culprit.
That's correct. So we've seen that.
So you think that it was the left or Democrats who sent
Well, I
these
think
bombs?
I think we're all entitled to have an opinion. We don't have any facts surrounding this, and Twitter is a venue where you're allowed to express your opinions and beliefs. And
But just to be clear, so that's not based on any facts. That's
of
just
course
your
it couldn't
belief.
possibly be based on facts. We don't have any evidence other than the fact that they're investigating it. But
I'll cover Candace's.
I do want to finish this by just saying that it is my belief, when you take a look at the conversation of things that have gone on and the increasing violence that's gone on, it has purely been a leftist tactic to stall things to the administration and to fearmonger. So, as a matter of opinion, I do believe that when we get to the resolution, the bottom of this, and we do have facts, we're going to say this is orchestrated by the left, but by no means is that opinion rooted in any proof, because we don't have anything yet to go off of.
I could certainly point to Charlottesville. I could point to other acts that happen. I could point to Dylan Roof. I mean, there's certainly acts of violence that have come from that.
But do you see how far back you have to go to do that?
Charlottesville?
Yeah, that's literally starting at the beginning of his administration. Look at all of the things that have gone on.
I don't want to have this debate, because ugliness can come from both sides.
No, I'm just saying that you brought it up.
I do want to ask you, though.
Just answering the question.
I mean, you've got a big platform.
I do.
Right? And you have a powerful voice.
Thank you.
And kudos to you for creating that.
Before they go on, Dylan Roof carried the Confederate flag. I've had a lot of white people tell me how they feel about the Confederate flag, and I appreciate your opinions about it and definitely understand. But Dylan Roof was holding the Confederate flag before he walked in that church and unalived 13 black people, right? I want you to understand something, right? The gaslighting doesn't work. It just doesn't work. She has a point. He had the Confederate flag. There were Confederate flags on the day Trump lost when Trump lost the election. There were Confederate flags literally going into the White House with the crowd of MAGA behind it. We are confused. When violence happens on the right, I'm not saying it's always the right, because the left definitely does violence too. But when violence is happening on the right, that flag is flying in the process. So she has a point bringing up the Confederate flag and Dylan Roof and all kind of things like that. I just wanted to make that point too. I don't think Candace Owens is destroying her. I don't hear it yet, but maybe it's coming. So let's keep going. We'll wait for it.
How do you view the responsibility that comes with that?
I view the responsibility of just being a person that maintains my ability to have an opinion and express an opinion, and no means that I say that I have just found the facts and this is related. And I always reserve the right.
0% chance.
Oh, I wanted to comment on that too. Then if you don't know the facts, then don't fucking speak on it, because you're gonna look stupid if you're wrong. Like if you're like, well, let me backtrack on that. You're allowed to give your opinion. But if your opinion is so far off from what could possibly be the reality, then it's like, okay, well, so I think you should tread carefully with that, with such a big platform, me included. When the more and more my platform grows, the more and more careful I'm going to be with what I say and what I put out to the public, because I know people are listening and people are going to take it into consideration. That's definitely, she's not saying anything wrong there. I don't see how she's schooling her or debunking her in any way, shape, or form. This girl is making good points, just as well as Candace is. Candace is making good points too. This is a great conversation. I hate how the right always takes great conversations and fucks up the great conversations. Like, this is just a good conversation. Point blank period. There's nothing else happening here. Nobody's getting destroyed, nothing like that. Neither Candace nor her are getting destroyed. I have more arguments on the other girl's side than Candace's side, but nobody's getting destroyed.
I said I'm going to go out and say that there is a 0% chance that there's a dissent by conservatives. I find all the things that are going on, the caravan of illegals, the packages that are being sent,
and you think the caravan too is organized by Democrats?
I find it to be incredibly suspicious timing, so that they are meant to get to the border on the day of the election. Again, this is not rooted in facts, but you do have to understand that I am very much entitled to my opinion, and Twitter is my platform.
Candace, I have one more.
There's one more here, because I wanted to get to know you before you came on, and I'm really interested in your perspective, because I think you're a fascinating person.
Thank you.
Once Paul began to bring up some of Owens' controversial tweets, the talk show turned into an all-out shouting fit. Kirk and Buck attempted to stop the argument before it escalated further, but Ball insisted on asking more baiting questions that she seemed to have a personal grievance with. White guilt. Is that what we're calling this? As the tension brewed further, Buck could be heard trying to reason with his co-host and clarify Owens' point, but it was to no avail. Ball tried to remain poised, however, when Owens' she responded, she couldn't even help but interrupt and defend herself, knowing she was in the wrong. Instead of backing off, Ball doubled down as the two engaged in a heated conflict, till the network had to cut the interview, as seen here.
There was another tweet that said, the Democratic Party is comprised of racist white liberals.
That is correct.
Am I a racist white liberal?
Well, let's go back. And let's say, I will say this, that many people in the party are not aware of their own racism. Let's go back to an early part of this conversation where you said to me, are you concerned about the color in the White House? Why would you ask me that question?
Because you speak about black issues.
No, but why would you ask me that? But let's get to really the nucleus of this. Why did you ask me that question today?
Quit trying to flip it on her. She's asking you that question because a black representation is definitely always good, just as well as Hispanic representation, homosexual representation, a white representation. It's always good to have some kind of representation of what color you are so they can relate more to your community. That's why she's asking that question. Quit trying to make it seem like she's racist. Stop with the bullshit.
Why did you say I needed to be concerned about that?
Because you're bringing a whole group of young African-American leaders to the White House.
Okay, so this is something that I talk about often, is that in many ways, white liberals don't realize that you put on that, the racism and the conversations that we have.
You're saying I'm a racist.
You haven't let me finish my statement, you keep cutting me off.
Go ahead.
Okay? The emphasis that you place is always on having a discussion about race, okay? You guys are insistent on having a conversation about race and telling us that we should see, and implying that we should see race everywhere, and I don't agree with that. If you don't look at me according to the color of my skin, you would simply ask me how I thought that Trump was doing as a president. But instead, you try to drum up a conversation that's surrounded by race by asking me, are there enough black people in the White House?
Of young black leaders to the White House.
Color, I don't.
That's something that's important to you.
But why are you talking about?
Then why I make it alert that you're going to bring young black leaders to the White House? I mean, this is sort of absurd.
Because the media, as in the whole...
This is absurd. You're bringing this group to the White House.
It's not absurd. I'm making perfect sense.
I
It's
just
not
want
following the logic.
to be clear.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear.
I'm trying to be true.
No, she's got a point. Like, you're bringing a group of young black leaders to the White House to see nothing but all white men. How is that inspiring them? Like, that's the only point that she's making. It's not a racist point. It's a good point. It's a great point. Just say you don't want to answer that, and you don't care if the White House is full of white men. That's all. It doesn't make her racist to point out that specific thing. It doesn't make her racist to point that out. Neither does it make the other side racist to have a complete White House full of white people. As long as they're doing everything positive for everybody around it, helping everybody grow and build, then it doesn't really matter. Like, 100%. Neither side is racist. I hate when people throw around that card for no fucking reason, to be honest.
I know.
Bringing the black conservatives to the White House
me as a racist white
think that you're not. First off, you put those words in my mouth, and you keep saying it. So I'm not. I said that the Democrat Party is comprised of racist white liberals. Is every person in the party racist? No, but you're not aware of the fact that you put these racist tones out into the media. This is why we have to bring the black conservatives to the president, because you create a narrative when you're on TV like you did today. Are you comfortable with
I'm going to have you on video later because I have questions for you as well. But we actually have to get out of the segment now.
Language is helpful, though. I mean, just in terms of the national conversation.
Do you think it's helpful to ask me just because I'm a black woman if I'm comfortable with the amount of color that's on the administration? Do you think that that's helpful?
I think it's helpful and interesting to know your perspective.
It's not. It's you just trying to create an undertone that Donald Trump is racist, and it's wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
That to me is the reason why.
Listen, no.
I just want to say.
You're looking at me on the basis of my skin color and making a bunch of, and making a bunch of deductions. I did not remember you said that. You can run the tape back. You said that.
Here's what I want to say.
You quoted a tweet and then you made it about me. So you were not added. Then you were not added in that tweet. So do not say that I called that, because that's dishonest. And we are on on TV. So you can run.
Racist.
Okay, so I did not call you racist. You're using the typical leftist tactic of trying to make yourself a victim, which is not the point I was
Hold on.
No, but we're actually well beyond that.
Well, she's making herself a victim and pretending that I came here and called her racist.
You know, when two people are arguing, just let it go. Don't jump into it, because you make it more discombobulated. Like either side, let them get it out. The white woman says I don't know the girl's name. Is it Crystal? I'm seeing Crystal behind her. But allow them to get it out so that they can have the conversation. Jesus Christ, the dude talking is making it worse.
This is a typical leftist tactic.
You know, it's an unfortunate situation we're all too familiar with when a host or interviewer knows they have crossed a line and they're presented with two decisions: retract or double down. And in this case, Bell mistakenly chose the latter and paid for it on live television. Instead of questioning herself as a curious questioner, she unveiled a political agenda lined with personal issues and repressed guilt. White guilt is what they call it. Liberal white guilt. I know I don't have white guilt, and I know you don't. Ball treated Owens like a child until the very end and refused to correct herself or apologize as she framed questions based around African Americans and racial issues directly at Owens. To her disappointment, she portrayed herself as a privileged white liberal, which ironically placed her perfectly into the context of Owens' tweet. Bravo. Once again, this is Resist the Mainstream. Let us know your thoughts below. We're reporting the news that the mainstream won't. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and of course hit that notification bell for more classic videos like we just seen. Till next time, take care, and we'll see you then.
For sure, I'm going to watch more of his videos, because I kind of like how this guy is. I do. I like him a lot. And definitely You know, I noticed the conservatives are the only ones that actually, like, I do have a harder time dropping liberal videos. I react to, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but conservatives will allow me to drop the videos, and they'll have the conversations with me. So I do appreciate that about conservatives. White guilt, I don't feel like that was any part of the video, but I don't know, like, maybe it was. Maybe she was doing some kind of white guilt situation there, but I disagree. Anyways, though, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all, and peace.